What is up, Gig Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is about another YouTube video. This guy says that he made over $8,000 in the month of June while delivering with Uber Eats. We're going to dive into that video, dissect it, pull it apart, and see if he actually made that much money or if he was fibbing on the numbers. And can other Uber Eats delivery drivers still make this much money in a single month delivering? These questions will be answered. But first, we're going to take a look at a new Uber Eats app update, which just went live, at least here in Seattle yesterday. The update looks pretty cool. Essentially, if you turn on Bluetooth, Uber Eats is going to automatically ping restaurants as soon as you arrive, letting them know, helping you get your food faster. I think this is cool. It's a nice update, but if you still want to get that food the fastest, you should always talk to someone in the restaurant and make sure that they know that you're there. It's always better to hear from a person as opposed to an app, but there are always times when it's hard to get a hold of someone in the restaurant. So hopefully this is just one more way to let them know that you arrive, and it should result in a little bit more efficient process for Uber Eats delivery drivers. I have also had some subscribers reaching out saying that they're seeing some glitches in the Uber Eats pay. Essentially, they feel like they're only getting paid for the trip, not the tip up front. I've only been delivering for Uber Eats for a few months, but this is kind of always how it's worked since I started delivering. Uber Eats shows you that earnings estimate up front, and then when the trip is completed, you see that trip payout, and then the tip kind of filters in lower at some point, and you usually end up getting exactly what that estimate was. Sometimes it ends up being a little bit more. What my guess is that Uber Eats changed their tipping policy a ways back, and they started pushing tips before an order on customers, so that you're prompted to make that tip payment up front, but they have to actually confirm that tip after the order, or it auto confirms after some period of time, which is why drivers don't actually see that tip sink in till later. It's possible that some Uber Eats drivers on the platform that have been doing this for a long time took time off, came back, didn't realize this is what happened, and so they're just getting used to the new setup. But maybe I'm wrong about stuff all the time. Let me know, leave a comment down below if you're seeing something different. All right, let's jump into this video and really break it down. So this guy on YouTube, Sabby Lion, he delivers in Salem, Oregon, and he details over 30 days how he earned $8,300 on the Uber Eats platform. But was he making up some of the numbers? Is it really possible to earn that much delivering with Uber Eats? Let's take a look at his video. So he's going to break it down day by day exactly how much he's earning delivering with Uber Eats. And his earnings are pretty consistent. The video in itself is actually very consistent as well. He shows us his daily routine, the deliveries he makes, and then he shows us his earnings in the app. Over the first 2 weeks, he makes just over $4,000. His average daily earnings are a little over $280, bringing his hourly earnings to about $24 an hour, which is pretty good for delivering food over a 12-hour period. When you think about it, most of the busy times are lunch and dinner, so averaging $24 an hour when you're working a full 12-hour day is really impressive. Now, he also mentions that he usually fills up for gas at the beginning of the day, which costs him about $20. That's not too bad when you consider that he delivers and makes about $280 over the entire day. So $20 for a gas expense is not really too pricey. And he gets to drive a pretty sweet car. It looks like he's driving around in a Ford Mustang, which probably isn't the most fuel efficient vehicle, but definitely a fun vehicle to drive. The unfortunate part is that when you're delivering in a vehicle that you really love like that, you put a lot of miles on it. And in the first 2 weeks, he put about 2,300 miles on that vehicle. And he actually had to get one oil change, which cost him about $50. So if we do some simple math on this, and we multiply that 2,300 miles by the standard deduction rate of about 58 cents per mile, that might have changed, gone up a little bit in the past year, I'm not sure. We get to about $1,330 that he gets to take as a deduction off of that $4,000 from the first 2 weeks. So he's really only going to be paying taxes on $2,700. Now, does that mean that he really only earned $2,700 in the first 2 weeks? If he actually filled up for gas $20 every single day for 14 days, that leaves his gas expense at about $280, but his total earnings was a little over $4,000. But with a nicer vehicle like a Mustang, and in particular a Ford, which is going to have some higher cost of repairs, some more maintenance down the road, he is probably going to have to add in some expenses that are going to correlate to that high mileage. For delivery drivers that use an older car that's kind of a beater, but happens to be like a Honda or Toyota, they're not going to incur as many expenses like that, and their cost of doing business is going to be much cheaper. But when you're looking for a quick gig and you want to start delivering food, you don't always get to decide what kind of car you drive, and most people, aren't going to just have a Honda or Toyota from the early 2000s on hand. But let's get back to the video. So do I think that this guy is lying or fibbing on any of his numbers? No, I do not. He shows a lot of earnings proof, and it's clear that he was actually earning a ton of money in June while delivering with Uber Eats. So can delivery drivers actually earn that much money now if they start delivering with Uber Eats? Here's my theory. I think that he definitely saw a little bit of a boost because of the pandemic. A lot of customers that previously weren't ordering food were now ordering food on the Uber Eats app. So you're going to see more orders coming in during that June timeframe because of COVID-19. People are scared to go into restaurants, into stores. They want stuff brought to them so they can stay in the safety of their bubble. And they're also willing to pay more in tips because of this. People tip better during the pandemic, and that was likely to boost his earnings. But he did mention after the first 2 weeks of delivering, when he looked back over his earnings, only about a third of those were from the tip, and the other 2/3 were the Uber Eats contribution. Now, this looks a little bit different than my personal earnings. I actually see about 50% of those earnings coming from the tip, so maybe people in Seattle tip delivery drivers better. Now, I still think it's possible to do very well delivering with Uber Eats, but I think that the 8,000 mark might be a little bit high, and you do have to take into account that he was delivering for 12 hours every single day for 30 days. Most people don't want to do that. Most people just want to sign on when it's busy, during lunch, during dinner, take slightly lower earnings per day than that, but that way you're not actually sitting in your car working or, having to do other stuff to keep yourself busy while not taking orders all day long. Personally, I'm more of a part-time driver, so I definitely do not rack up that many earnings, but I regularly hear people on this channel, subscribers, talking about their earnings, and people do get up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. But things do fluctuate a lot in the gig economy, so you cannot really rely on that going forward. If you want to get more stability, it makes sense to apply for other apps as well, supplement with DoorDash, with Grubhub. That way you can have some more consistency in your earnings. It's a strategy that I always recommend on this channel, and I'm sure my subscribers get annoyed by it because they hear it nonstop, but I have to say it because I know there's always someone new that's watching this video that's going to need that help and that assistance. There's definitely a lot of ups and downs when you're delivering food, namely throughout the day. You're going to have a lot of downtime in the mornings between lunch and dinner, but some days are slower than others. One thing that we can learn from this video is that the weekends are definitely the best time to deliver. That's when you get the most bang for your buck, but there can be a lot of consistency during the week. You're going to have your regular customers and your regular restaurants that you spend a lot of time picking up from. And if you're willing to be persistent, find the areas with the restaurants that work best for you and get to know the app a little bit, you can definitely do pretty well with this. Let me know what your monthly earnings have been over the last few months, because I'd love to hear about that. If they've been up above $4,000, $5,000 a month, I'd really like to hear about it. A lot of my subscribers are also, more part-time workers, and they're looking at like $600 a week, but they're not putting a ton of time into it. They may have other jobs, they may have other stuff that they're doing during times of the day. So this is definitely a side hustle. That's how it works for a lot of people. It's definitely always been a side hustle for a lot of drivers, but it's good to see drivers out there getting after it full time and really crushing it with the earnings. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Gig Nation for all of the latest gig economy news and updates.